2 feet in the wall. I can't swim. Hallelujah. All praise to the Most High Yah. We are blessed and honored to be here today. Blessed and honored to be in front of the people today. Blessed and honored for anyone to watch this on YouTube or Facebook or whatever your avenue of viewing. Shabbat Shalom. Chag Sameach, as we are embracing our count. Our count has come to a completion. To get to the 50th day, to get to this Shavuot, this Feast of Weeks, to this Pentecost, to this celebration, to this rejoicing. So it's a blessing to be in front of everybody today. As we always say, or as the book says, to the Yahudim first, then to the nations. I think James had said to the scattering of the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Greetings to you, peace to you, shalom to you. And as we always say, that the word of the mighty Yah, his word is good for everybody. We have people that are stuck in prison, jail, they on drugs, they all kind of wild living. Okay, and the power of the word can pull you out if you want to come out. Right. You do not have to stay in your condition. That is a choice. That is a choice. It's the power of the word that can pull you out. Okay. So this word is for you. I don't want to leave anybody out. But that being said, we'll go ahead. We'll get started on this set-apart day, on this holy day. The title, our topic for today is I Do. Covenant Love. I do. Covenant love. Okay? And when we, the more we separate ourselves from systematic religion or just systematic thinking, then you realize that when Yah talks about love, it's not the way we define love or how we have our understanding of love. Okay? It's different. It's not the same. Okay? The way we look at love, the way we look at relationships, right? We in and out relationships, we jump in, we jump out, we get married, we just so the way we have an understanding and the way Yah designed it is two different things.
That's right.
Okay? So we have to be able to separate. And something my brother in the back, he always talks about covenant. And you know what? Covenant. That's right. You have to be within these boundaries. So Yah give an example about his vineyard. And when he's pleased with the vineyard, there's a what around it? There's a hedge around it. But you won't believe this. He starts seeing weeds. He starts seeing vines that ain't producing fruit. Something's going wrong, and then he removes the hedge. Uh-oh. Someone broke the covenant. But you would have to have been in covenant for it to have been broken. So the Mashiach, who is going to do everything that his Father has taught him, shown him, and spoke, he's going to be looking for people who are in what? Covenant. Period. Hook, line, sinker. We can get up and go home on that one. That's what he's looking for. Period. And he's made the conditions of being in the covenant available to you. So if you're not in it, you can't go against the book. Right? I'm saying all the time. Well, for everything's written aforetime, it's written for you what? Learning. Right? Through the patience and the comforts of the scriptures, we might have what? Hope. So I hope to be able to stand in front of the Son of Man. I hope to be found worthy. Well, what is my condition? You must be in covenant. There must be certain things about you that fits his criteria. If not, I'm gonna be smoked to ashes. Because I think Hebrews says what? That our Elohim is a what? Consuming fire. Some hot light. You can get all your nuclear scientists and put them all together. They ain't got nothing on him. They ain't got nothing on him. So I do covenant love. Let's start in Exodus 19 and 3. We're going to do some reading today. Hope you don't mind.
Right.
Okay, we're going to do some reading. Read good for you. Exercise your brain.
Right.
I guess when you read the word, you're exercising your brain and your spirit. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Exodus 19:3. We're going to start in Exodus 19:3. I think we finished last time. We finished in 19:1 and 2. We stopped where they encamped before the mountains, where we stopped at. So we're going to pick up in 3, and it reads, "And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Yaakov, and tell the children of Israel." So he told Moses to tell who? Children of Israel. Okay? So this is to whom this word is going to. Okay? Verse 4, "Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, how I bare you on eagle wings, and did what? Brought you into who? Myself." So you got a one-way ticket. You ain't had to pay nothing. All you had to do was pay attention. That's all you had to pay was attention. Your ticket up out of there was on that night. Make sure that lamb has been slain. Make sure the blood is put up. Make sure your dough's alive. Eat it, roast before I eat it. Have your bitter herbs ready. Get unleavened bread, because we gotta go quick. That's all you gotta do is pay attention. Follow instructions. Verse 5, "Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my what? Covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. You shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak to the children of Israel." And Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all the words which Yah had commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, "All that Yah has spoken, we will do." And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. So this is the stipulation. It's been a rough trip to get here. Folks been fussing. Folks been fighting. We had to deal with this. We had to deal with that. Y'all arguing about this. You arguing, complaining about this. I'm trying to take you here. It's been a rough trip. But now we here. I brought you here. And even though you've been this way, this is the condition. Moses go tell him. He told him, all that Yah said we will do. So he goes back and says, hey, they're good with it. They're good with it. Verse 9, "And Yah said unto Moses, Lo, I come to a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever." And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, "Go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the third day. For the third day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon the Mount Sinai." You see how he said they had to wash their clothes?
Yes.
Now, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but when we see things in our New Testament, right, when we see the letters and the epistles of the apostles to the brethren, to the congregations, and Paul say something like, hey, he's going to wash you with water. He's going to wash you with water. You won't believe, before I show up, before I get there, make sure they wash their clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So before I show up, Moses, you tell them wash their clothes now.
Amen.
So when the son comes and does his gathering, his collecting, you know what he's going to do? He's going to wash it. "And thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about." I'm sorry, I didn't read. Did I read 11? "And be ready against the third day, for the third day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And thou shalt set bounds to the people round about, saying, Take heed to yourselves, that you go not up into the mount, nor touch the border of it. Whosoever toucheth the mount shall be put to death. There shall not a hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through, whether it be beast or man. It shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount." So the people are supposed to go up. Right? This is not just a Yah and Moses thing, but this is for y'all. We in the South. Y'all. Y'all come up. Come on up here. Moses went down from the mountain to the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. He said to the people, be ready against the third day, and come not at your wives. And it come to pass at the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the nether part of the mount. Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of the furnace. The whole mount quaked greatly, and when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moses spoke, and God answered him by a voice. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mount, and the Lord called Moses up into the top of the mount, and Moses went up, and Yah said to Moses, go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord, to gaze, and many of them perish. And let the priests also which come near to the Lord sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them. Moses said unto the Lord, the people cannot come up to the mount Sinai, for thou charged us, saying, set bounds up or about the mount, and sanctify. And the Lord said to him, away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee, but let not the priests and the people break through to come up unto the Lord, lest he break forth upon them. So Moses went down unto the people and spake unto them. So we see that Yah is establishing order. Everything has to be done in order.
Yes.
And I'm so holy that now the mountain is holy. Why? Because I touched it.
Yes.
I touched it. Some of you rascals are probably not ready. And the consequence of you not being ready is death. What does it say in Romans 6 and 23? For the wages of is what?
Death.
So sin is just missing the mark. So sin is missing the mark. So how many that day, yeah, lip service, but really not really ready? And unfortunately, I'm that dude. I'm that guy. If you get too close, you're dead. So the book tells us we got to be found what? Worthy to stand in front of. You got to stand up like a man or like a woman on 10 toes. 2 feet, 10 toes. Eye to eye. Them eyes looking at you. And when y'all look at you, y'all sure looking at you, you naked. You like in your mama womb. Got your whole record. Got your whole rap sheet right there. Not just what you done said, what you done thought. You got to be found worthy to stand. But you know, if you're going to be brought unto him and become one with him, you got to go through that process. This process they going through, you got to go through it too. It wouldn't be fair. But that's part of a covenant. Anyway, so now let's look at verse. I had aspirations doing this. Okay, we're not going to read. We're going to read all of it, but we're going to. Okay, we're going to skip over. We're going to skip over to 24, chapter 24. Exodus 24 and 1. Exodus 24 and 1. And he said unto Moses, come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and the 70 elders of Israel, and worship ye afar off. And Moses alone shall come near the Lord, but they shall not come nigh, neither shall the people go up with him. And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord, and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which the Lord hath said, we will do. We will do. Right? So we kind of went through the 10 Commandments, went through the judgments and being right, went through the whole deal, and everybody said, all that he said we'll do. Moses wrote all the words of the Lord and rose up early in the morning and built an altar to the hill and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men to the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen to the Lord. Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. He took the book of the covenant, read in the audience of the people, and they said, all that the Lord hath said, we will do and be obedient. Okay? So we have 3 separate times where they said, I do. You know, like you up there, you about to get married. You know what you say? I do. You take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife. I do. So in the relationship we're in with him, you know what we've said? I do. But it's not on American Western standards. Not on religion, Catholicism standards. It's on Hebraic, ancient biblical standards. So, that being said, Jeremiah 29:11 got before you. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. Now, can you imagine the loud shofar sounding, the thunder, the lightning, the dark cloud, the earthquakes, the fire? And can you imagine at that moment having a future of hope? And this is a good for me?
Yes.
Moses said we shake fearfully out of our boots. He said, if I'm paraphrasing, but shaking up out my boots, or I guess out my sandals. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you. Okay? The thoughts that I think towards you. Let's look at that thoughts. I got that highlighted for you. Thoughts is machashava. Okay? So Yah, when he says, I have the thoughts towards you, that machashava means that which anyone meditates, proposes, or plots. Plots. So Yah's a planner. I think when I said yesterday, when I talked yesterday, that Yah's a planner.
Yes.
He's a planner. So he has a plan. So when we're reading this, plan's in full motion. So what we're reading in Exodus 19 and 20 and 21, 22, 23, 24, that's part of his plan. It's not the end game. It's just part of the plan. It's a certain move to get to another move. To get to another move. To get to another move till he says, checkmate. Game. So Yah had a plan. Now that root word for that machashava is chashav. It means to, I always say this wrong, is it plat or plate?
Plat.
Plat. To plat. Okay? To interpenetrate. To weave together. So in Jeremiah 29, when he says, the thoughts I have for you, he's already weaved and plat. He's weaved and platted your life. You just ain't got there. Because he can see down the timeline.
Yes.
You can't. You're just a humanoid. You're stuck. All right? You can't do nothing till tomorrow get here. You can't go nowhere. You can't jump far. I'm going to go forward 2 weeks. No, you ain't. But Yah has already woven and weaved and platted you out. You just got to stay on course. You have to stay on course. So, boom. At the mountain. Fire. Woo! What a sight. That ain't doing it justice. Okay? But that was part of the plan to get them there. To pull them out, to get them there. For that to happen. Okay? Alright? Now, you have seen what I did unto the Egyptians and how I bear you on eagle's wings and did what? Brought you into myself. Alright? This is part of his master plan to bring you unto himself. Or to bring them to himself. Or to bring us to himself. Rita, brother, let me get Malachi 3 and 6. Malachi 3 and 6, brother. And brother Joab in the back. The good qualities of Joab, not the bad ones. Okay? The good ones.
For I am Yah,
Uh-huh.
I shall not change.
Mm.
And you, O sons of Yaakov, shall not come to an end.
Mm. So he said he will what now?
He shall not change.
He will not change. So he said, I put you on eagle wings and brought you to myself. Just heard the reader just say that, I will not change. Therefore, the sons of Jacob are what?
Not consumed.
Not consumed. Now, earlier when we read this, he told Moses to go talk to who? The house of Jacob, the children of Israel. Okay? Okay. So, we'll keep that, just put that little nugget in the back of your head. Okay? All right. So, today, where the way the world is, which we kind of looked at last couple of weeks, that the world can also be called a what? Wilderness. Okay? All right? So, we are in the wilderness. Right? Okay? All right. So, divorce. Right? Because we're talking about being covenant. Okay? All right, so divorce rate. Rate of divorce usually refers to the number of divorces that occur in the population during a given period. 2002, the latest survey data was 2012. 29% of first marriages among women 15 through 44 were disrupted, ended in separation, divorce, or annulment within 10 years. Beyond a 10-year window, population survey data is lacking, but forecasts and estimates provide some understanding. It is commonly claimed that half of all the marriages in the United States eventually end in divorce. An estimate possibly based on the fact that in any given year, the number of marriages is about twice the number of divorces. You got a lot of people getting married, and about half of them get divorced. Okay? So when we're talking about saying I do to Yah, right, there is no backing out. There is no, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to serve you or be a bride to you however I want to.
All right.
I'm going to do what I want to do. Even if it's things that you don't like. We kind of see the parallel? Right? So if this is the mentality in the wilderness, you have a lot of people in the wilderness that are in the church. The total body. Okay? A lot of people have claimed Yahshua HaMashiach now. Whether they do it on Saturday or Sunday or whatever, but a lot of people have claimed him. Right? This is why he is the head. Where the head is the mouth. And he has the authority to what? Spew out of the body. That which does not belong. Okay? Okay. This guy did a study. Said that divorce in the late 90s, about 43 to 46% of marriages were predicted to end in dissolution. According to this researcher, only a small percentage of marriages end in permanent separation rather than divorce. Using 95 data, National Survey of Family Growth Forecast 2002, a 43% chance that first marriages among women 50 to 44 would be disrupted in 15 years. More recently have spoken with academics and National Survey of Family Growth representatives. PolitiFact.com estimated in 2012 that the lifelong probability of a marriage ending in divorce is 40 to 50%. So, didn't he give an example in Ephesians about, the way you are with your wife, and the wife with the husband is how Yahshua is with the church, and, but the mentality is about 40 to 50% of people going to get divorced. So out of 10 people, 5 of y'all ain't going to make it. Out of 10 marriages, 5 of y'all are not going to make it. So who would be behind that mentality? Right? If y'all want people to become one, somebody else must want you not to. The ugly one.
Yes, Satan.
Behind the closed doors. Let's look at Psalms 89. Psalm 89 and 34, and it reads, My covenant will I not break, nor alter the thing that is gone out of my lips. My covenant will I not break. So if anybody breaks the covenant, it will be us. It'll be the humanoid side. Okay? It'll be the mortal side, not the immortal, because Yah is immortal. So it'll be us. So he said, I will not break the covenant, nor alter the thing that has gone out of my lips. So in the word, there are certain conditions that we got to reach. And you know what he said? I ain't changing a thing. He read Malachi 3:6. So then, Yah, I'm changed not. Therefore, you're not consumed. Hosea 6th chapter. Hosea 6th chapter. Hosea 6. And 6. Hosea 6 and 6. For I have desired mercy and not sacrifice, and the knowledge of Elohim more than burnt offering. That was mentioned today earlier. One. But they, like men, have transgressed the covenant. There have they dealt treacherously against me. So transgressing the covenant, you in for a big old butt whooping. But they, like men, have transgressed the covenant. There have they dealt treacherously against me. Okay, so we have to stay within the covenant, within the confines of it. That's for your safety. Okay, you need this. This is your ticket in. Okay, breaking the covenant is your ticket out. It's real simple. So covenant is what? Hebrew students? Brit. And allegiance, pledge, covenant is what it means. But there's a half an asterisk. It also means cutting. Okay, also means cutting. So when we look at the word covenant, allegiance, pledge, covenant, there's an aspect of cutting. Okay, now in some cultures, Far Eastern cultures, it'd be very common to come into agreement with somebody, and then somebody cut themselves, and put blood on the ground, or the other one cut themselves and they shake hands. It's in the seal of the covenant. Now, obviously, you're not going to find it in the Torah because that's not what God commanded the Israelites to do. But But the aspect of cutting, it could mean like cutting with your teeth, cutting meat, like you broke bread together. We agreed, and then we broke bread together. Okay, and we'll find that sprinkled throughout the Bible when it comes to the covenant. Okay, so the root of covenant, there are two Hebrew words that make the word barit. Right, one is bara, okay, and it means to choose, cut, separate, consume, eat. Now this word eat is only used a couple times in your Bible. So when you see that, it's like, uh-oh. One of the times it's used is when David, knucklehead boy, wanted to set up his sister, hey, I'm sick, tell her I'm sick, and make that stuff that I like to eat. Okay, that was the word used. So this bara means eat, but it means to choose, to cut, to separate, to consume. Right? He made a choice that day. He ended up consuming her. Right? The other word, bara, we all should be used to, is to create, to shape, to form something. Right? In the beginning, Elohim bara, he created everything that we see. Right? In the beginning. So these two root words make up this word covenant. Okay? Cutting, choosing, separating, then creating something. Right? Building something, forming something. Okay? So when we talk about, he got it. So when we talk about this renewal of the covenant, something had to be cut. Someone had to be consumed. Someone had to be chosen. Something had to be created. Something had to be formed. We're talking about the new covenant. Now, who fit that description? And then you have to follow behind. Pick up your cross and follow. So you have to follow the head of this what? Covenant. Someone had to be consumed. Cut. Something had to be formed out of it. Yahshua had to come down and be in the womb like a baby. Let that sink in. We got other places we got to go. So how in the world, I'm going to get a nation out of this? British. I was thinking about that just doing this. Like, how that? That's not accurate. That's so, what's the word I'm looking for? Just silly. Can't do that. Juvenile. Anyway, so covenant. Okay, covenant. So agreeing to something, being a part of something, and you're in something. Okay, and there are parties that are agreeing, right? So we have our part, and we have the Most High's part. Now, when we look at the covenants of the Scripture, we have the Edenic or Eden covenant. We have Noah, the Noahic covenant, Abraham, Moses, the priestly, David, and then we have the new covenant or the Mashiach. Okay, we're not going to go through all these. That's not really the point for today. But I just wanted to get that in your mind, the seriousness of covenant and being in a covenant with Him. And a lot of the things the children of Israel went through was because, what did they say? I do. Mm-hmm. They hadn't said that. They'd have turned around and walked back. I promise you this, you won't go chasing after. Fellas know what I'm talking about. That woman said, I'm gone. Oh, wait a minute. One about to walk out the house. We tried to stop him walk out the house. He wasn't going to do that. So once they said I do, they're in. They're in. Right? We said the same thing. So what for everything written aforetime written for my learning? Mm-hmm. So I need to understand the covenant, rules, regulations, stipulations, the severity of the matter. Okay? All right, so here's an example of one. You see it every time it rains, don't you?
Hallelujah. His promise is real.
Every time it rains. If it rains real good, you see that, don't you? Yeah. That's an example of a covenant.
Yes, it is.
He said it. He meant it. I don't care if it's 2,000 or whatever. Let it rain. Let you be at the right place and you see the bow in the sky.
Yes, you do.
Okay? So, Yah has His covenants. Yah has things that He said, He's promised. And then we have to be able to stay in that covenant and not jump into another one. You understand what I'm saying? Amen. Don't jump into another one now. Don't get to another one. Because we are always at war. Remember, there was a bunch of covenants now. We're just going to pick out just a couple. We are at war. You got to explain that. Priestly covenant. Phineas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron. What did I say? Lazy? My bad. The son of Aaron the priest have turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consumed the children of Israel, my jealousy. Wherefore say, behold, I give him my covenant of peace, and he shall have it, and his seed after him, even a covenant of an everlasting priesthood. Because he was zealous for his Elohim, he made atonement for the children of Israel. Right, Numbers 25, 11, and 13. Right? That's all in our Bibles. We got that, right? You understand that? Right? So, what will be another that will be like, well, I don't know if that's right, right? Then something happened kind of not too long ago. You know, your third temple over there? No, these guys of that line, see how close it get? Altar being dedicated, temple, they were building a temple. And we got, I wonder if those guys are those guys. I don't know. Something to chew on. Something to think about. Yah has His way, and the world has its way. Yah has His idea of covenant, relationship, and love. And the world has His way. Right? Brother, give me Hebrews 6 and 18.
so that by two unchangeable matters in which it is impossible for Elohim to lie, we might have strong encouragement, we who have fled for refuge to lay hold of the expectation set before us. Which we have as an anchor of the life, both safe and firm, and entering into that within the veil.
What's the first thing? What was that saying? How that verse start off again?
So that by two unchangeable matters in which it is impossible for Elohim to lie.
So he ain't gonna lie. So he ain't gonna say something and do the opposite. That would be more us. That would be more us. So, Exodus 19:8, all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord has spoken, we do. We do. Moses returned the words of the Lord to the people, unto the Lord. 24:3, with one voice, and said, all the words of the Lord have said, we do. 24:7, took the book of the covenant and read it to all the people, and they said all that the Lord has said, we do. Deuteronomy 4. You know, it's something that when you get married, you have a wedding reception. Even if you go to a courthouse, you got to have something. What you got to have? Witnesses. To validate what someone said, life.
Used to be blood test.
See, you said I gotta have photo ID, birth certificate. But regardless, there has to be witnesses. You have to have witnesses. Deuteronomy 4:33. Did ever people hear the voice of God speaking out of the midst of fire? As thou hast heard and lived, or hath God essayed to go and to make him a nation from the midst of another nation by temptations, by signs, and by wonders, and by war, and by a mighty hand? That's why I always say that Yah is the Elohim of war. That for them to get to the mountain, he went in and fought for them. You won't believe this, but in some shape, form, or fashion, for you to get here today, someone went and fought for you.
Hallelujah.
And by a stretched out arm, by great terrors, according to all that the Lord your God did for you in Egypt before your eyes. And to thee it was showed that thou mightest know that the Lord, he is God, and that there is none else beside him. Out of heaven he made thee to hear his voice. Out of heaven he made thee to hear his voice. Out of heaven he made thee to hear his voice. So you're a witness, as you heard. That he might instruct thee, and upon earth he has shown thee his great fire, and thou heardest his words out of the midst of fire. And because he loved thy fathers. Hang on. Close your eyes and Bill. Because he loved thy fathers. Didn't he make a covenant with somebody? About their seed? And about their seed being?
Abraham.
Oh. So he down here with Moses talking about some other stuff. But before they go over into the land, and he's reminding them of what covenant he made with Abraham. And because he loved thy fathers, verse 37, and because he loved thy fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them, and brought thee out in his sight with a mighty power out of Egypt. So once again, I think the brother read that Yah cannot what? Lie. He's not going to go against his own word. Okay? Exodus 19. Exodus 19 said, and it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings, and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. So the people were hearing things. Brother, give me Job 40:9.
do you have a little arm like El? Or do you thunder with a voice like his?
Do you do what?
Do you thunder with a voice like his?
Do you do what?
Do you thunder with a voice like his?
Do you thunder with a voice? So when y'all talk, he might talk like I'm talking to you right now. Or he might talk with what?
Thunder.
Thunder. So he might talk to you this way, or whatever language you speak. Or he might speak in the language of thunder. See, that's who you serve. So every time it starts thundering, someone talking. Can you pay attention? Or are you like them, trembling? My grandma was telling me something when I was a kid, and be thundering and stuff. You know, when you're younger, baby, don't be scared. That's just the Lord doing his work. It's the Most High talking to the inhabitants of the earth. But you know what? We can't hear. Same problem. They had problems hearing too, though. Didn't they say? Moses, you go. You go tell us. I think it was taught yesterday. How was it said yesterday? Just go tell God to be quiet. Just go tell the Most High just be quiet. I'd rather hear from you. I'd rather hear from Moses. I want to hear from him. John 12, brother. John 12, 28 through 29, brother.
Father, esteem your name. Then a voice came from the heaven. I have both esteemed it and shall esteem it again. So the crowd who stood by and heard it were saying, there had been thunder.
There was what?
Thunder. Others said, a messenger has spoken to him.
Others said what?
A messenger has spoken to him.
So some only heard thunder. And some heard them words like an angel whispered in their ear. What category are you going to fall under? So the Elohim we serve, he speaks with thunder. It's one of his languages.
Yeah.
We got people down here fuss and fight about praying in the spirit, speaking in another language. And then the Elohim you serve, thunder is his language. Can you speak thunder? Can you speak thunder? Can you interpret thunder? Oh. So, Shavuot, Feast of Weeks, right? Leviticus 23. We going somewhere, but I think, well, I had to at least get a understanding of covenant in your mind. Okay. Covenant in our mind. Leviticus 23. Verse 14. And it reads, and ye shall eat neither bread nor parched corn nor green ears until the self same day that you have brought an offering unto your God. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. You shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. Even until the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days, and ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord. You shall bring out of your habitation 2 wave loaves of 10th of deal. They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baked with leaven. They shall be baked with leaven. They shall be baked with leaven. We'll come back to that. They are the first fruits of the Lord. You shall offer with the bread of 7 lambs, without blemish. The first year, 1 young bullock and 2 rams. They shall be for a burnt offering unto the Lord, with their meat offering and their drink offerings, even the offering made by fire of sweet savor to the Lord. And you shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goats of the sin offering, 2 lambs for the first year to sacrifice of the peace offerings, and the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits for a wave offering before the Lord. With the 2 lambs, they should be holy to the Lord for the priest. You shall proclaim on the selfsame day to be a holy convocation unto you. Ye shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations. Okay, so this is what we are doing the best we can to perform today. Okay? All right, so we looked at the instructions given for this festival. Brother, Galatians 5 and 9. And I know he ready because I told him last night he was leaving. I had a lot of work for him. So I know he ready. Galatians 5 and 9. So what was the bread to be baked with? It had to be way before Yah, correct?
A little leaven leavens to all the lump.
A little what?
A little leaven leavens to all the lump.
Somebody, 1 Corinthians 5 and 6. Go ahead. You know what? Just go ahead, brother. Read 6 through 8. 1 Corinthians 5, 6 through 8. A little leaven leavens the whole lump, huh? But wasn't there a feast of what? Unleavened. We had to do what? Remove all of it out. And that symbolizes what? Sin. Get it out. But then, when you come to see me again, make sure you put some leaven in that bread. And wait what the fuck. Go ahead, brother.
Your boasting is not good.
Uh-huh.
Do you not know that a little leaven leavens the entire lump?
It does what?
It leavens the entire lump.
Go ahead.
Therefore, cleanse out the old leaven. So that you are a new lump, as you are unleavened. For also Messiah, our Pesach, was slaughtered for us. So then, let us celebrate the festival, not with old leaven, nor with the leaven of evil and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
But it's in your law. If you make that bread, put some leaven in it. Put some leaven in it. Have mercy. Where you taking us, Father? So remember the journey we've been talking about the last couple of weeks? The children of Israel left where? Ramses, right? That meant what? Children of the what? Sun. Children of the S-U-N. Then they went to a place called Succoth. And y'all had, and it was a place of what? Booths. Right? Tabernacles. Temporary dwellings. Y'all was good to them. Then they went to Etham. What was unique about Etham? That was the edge of the what? Wilderness. So then in the book we see the pillar of fire and then the cloud. So before we go into this wilderness, I'm going with you. I'm holding your hand. I'm leading you there. Then we got to Pi Hahiroth, right? Which was what we talked about, the narrow path. I don't have a slide today, but the mountains on this side, the mountains on that side, one way in, one way you can't turn around. And when you go forward, it's the beach and water. You can't go back this way. Who is that? That Pharaoh and them? Uh-oh. You sure look angry. It's a whole bunch of them. Can't go this way, because I can't swim, because I got flippers. It's a mountain right here, there's a mountain right there. But the book tells us what? That the narrow path leads you to life. They had no clue. And Moses said, hey, stand still. Fear not. This day see your salvation. And a wind blew. Stood up the water on one side and stood up the water on the other and made a way for them to cross over.
Yes, sir.
So then they celebrated, they shouting, they dancing, they doing all their thing. And then how many days later? 3 days. They stopped at a place called what? Marah. Water looked nasty. You know, brought me to a place where they got sewer water. You ever seen when there was like a pipe, a septic pipe, tank bust or something, and they get in the water? So imagine that, and then you get there, you got your kids there. They come. So they had to throw a tree in the water to make the water what? Sweet. Right? We talked about the different prophecies about the trees and the leaves and the healing of the nations.
Thank you.
Then they got to a place called Elim. What was special about there? Y'all had what for them? How many trees have on?
12.
How many trees they had?
70.
How many wells?
12.
There we go. So you had a place for them to kind of gather themselves. Like, hey, look, y'all gotta trust me though. Then they went to the wilderness of sin. And the ground was like what?
Hard clay.
Hard clay.
Yes.
What we learned about that clay? You can't put no, you gotta be, look, you can't put no seeds in it now. You ain't growing nothing out there. It's so hard and sharp like a thorn.
Cut you up.
It messed up all my feet, my sandals. I ain't got the new styles of sandals. I had to get up out of Egypt right now. I couldn't even grab my good sandals. I got on my little house sandals. My feet toe up. So they're in the wilderness of sin. Then they leave there and they go to Rephidim, which was supposed to be a place of what for them? Rest. It came a place of what? War.
Because they were disobedient.
Right? Amalek came out. So when we look at these different stops, Yah was showing them what? Themselves. He was showing them themselves. You get to a place of Marah, the water ain't bitter. Boy, you bitter. Get to the waters of sin, ain't nothing wrong with the ground. That ground is your heart. I can't put nothing in it. I can't put no sower come by and throw no seed and land in a good ground, because your heart is hard as this ground you're walking on.
Have mercy, y'all.
Rephidim, a place of rest, a place of rest. I got water by that rock over there for you. You didn't know. You're supposed to spread out and stretch and relax a little bit. You're in my face again. Talking about what I ain't doing and who I ain't. And I ain't providing for you. And I ain't doing this. Now, what kind of wife is that?
Oh.
Because
Have mercy.
so this engagement process, this ain't going too good. Because a few chapters later, folks are saying, I do. We do. So are you really ready? Now Leviticus 23 said you make that bread with what? Leaven. Reader, brother, let's do 19:6 Exodus, and somebody else give me Ephesians 5:26 through 27. So brother, give me Exodus 19:6. I know we've talked about it. And somebody else give me Ephesians 5:26 through 27.
And you shall be to me a reign of priests and a set apart nation. Those are the words which you are to speak to the children of Israel.
Is that 19:6?
Exodus 19:6.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
Sure was. 19:4. My fault.
Okay. You have seen what I did to the Mizrites, and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself.
And brought you to who?
To himself.
To himself. So, under all this stuff we're looking at, he did not change his mind. Because I'm Yah, I change what?
No.
And Psalm 89, I will not alter my lips from what I've spoken. Someone said, hey, Moses, look, because of the promise to your fathers, he went and pulled a nation out of another nation. Somebody, whoever got Ephesians 5.
Ephesians 5.
26, 27.
26, 27. That he might sanctify and cleanse her
Mhm.
with the washing of water by the word, that he might present her to himself.
Present who?
Present her to himself, a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing.
Not having what?
Spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that she should be holy.
She should be who?
Holy and without blemish.
Brother, go back to never mind. What did he say? Be ye holy, for I am
holy.
Question. These stops here, this reveals spots, wrinkles, and blemishes.
Hallelujah. Yes, very much.
Yes.
Whatever things written 4 times written for our learning.
Yes.
So on the way to him, they had a lot of. So now as we're looking at Leviticus 23, where it said, hey, make the bread with leaven. Make the bread with leaven. Why? Why I got to make the bread with leaven? I thought leaven was a good thing. I mean, a bad thing. Why would he want that? Who is that bread? So, who is this first fruits representing?
The bride.
Make the bread with leaven. Because a little leaven leavens the whole lump.
Yeah.
So when they came to him, Because he brought them into himself this first time. They had spots, wrinkles, blemishes, and he brought them anyway. He brought them anyway.
Yes, he did.
We know they flaws because we read them. We got a record of them. And the trumpet sounded long. He said, come on up. But since there were spots, wrinkles, blemishes, I don't want to go up. Because you're not a bride. But this is a shadow. Because there's going to be a day when he's going to gather his wheat. You want to know what he's going to do with them? He's going to put them in his barn.
Hallelujah.
This wheat was an example. We're going to look what some of this book say. He said next time he go through this process, you ain't gonna be able to cut up an act of food. You're going to have to be right here. Now, I promised Abraham something, and I'm going to fulfill my word. But since we're under a new covenant, the stipulations have changed a little bit. So he brought them knowing that they were not ready. They were not ready. Yah knew it was not the end game. Remember, he's the planner. Remember Jeremiah 29:11? I know, I have thoughts for you. I have a plan for you. I've interweaved, I've plaited. I've platted out the course of not just your life, but your descendants' life and the lives of humanity. So this is an example. When you come into me and you're not really ready, and we have all this dialogue and all these bad decisions, right? Because we ain't not going there today, but we know this was the golden calf incident, right? So the heart was not ready to go up. But the bride of Mashiach will have a heart to serve.
Amen.
So he knew that they were not ready. He brought them anyway. Therefore, for this festival, when you break the bread, bake it with leaven. Because you got to remember that first fruit that I harvested, 19:6 again, Exodus.
And you shall, 19:4.
Thank you, brother.
You have seen what I did to the Mizrites,
Uh-huh.
and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself.
And brought you to who?
Myself.
So he did the harvesting. He did the planting. He did the harvesting. He said, this crop is not good. So you know what, Moses? Write it down. On the 50th day, once you've made your count, bake the bread with leaven.
Wow.
And we say in Kentucky the other day, what we tell your neighbor that you're what? You're the wheat.
Yeah.
You're the wheat. He don't want no wheat sandwich. You're the wheat. You. And this first harvest that came up out of there, you read it. We ain't got to keep going through it. Not ready. Not ready. Not ready. They said we do. But that's what the book say. Yo, lip service, but yo, it's far from me. So this next time around,
What else?
so we have this in our Torah about baking bread with leaven, because the father, who is a gardener, who is a hunter, who is a provider, is wise. That first batch he brought up was full of leaven. He said, from now on, and when you bake it and you wave it before me, do it for every generation. Hebrews 12. That's mercy for you.
Yes, it is.
That Old Testament God, he was so good. He said, man, bring them on in. That's why, look, they better not touch nothing by that mountain. Don't let the animals touch nothing. No, that's bad. You know, been smart with your kids and said, man, you stay in the straight. Don't move. That's how they were. Like, man, look, don't touch, don't your animals even touch me. No, that's bad. Man, I lost one of my oxen. Thought it was a piece of grass over there, went over there and touched it and died. That's my best oxen. So don't you touch this mountain. Hebrews 12, verse 17, and it reads, For ye know that ye afterward, when ye have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. Talking about Esau. For ye are not come into the mount that might be touched. Pay attention. And that burned with fire, nor into blackness and darkness and tempest and the sound of the trumpet. And the voice of the words, which voice that they heard entreated, that the word should not be spoken to them anymore. Right? Right? For they could not endure that which was commanded. I thought you said we do. I thought you said you did. I thought you said I give my life to Yahshua HaMashiach. And if so much as a beast touched the mountain, it should be stoned or thrust through with the dart. And so terrible was the sight that Moses said, I exceedingly fear and quake. But ye are come to the Mount of Zion. But ye are come to the Mount of Zion. See, this is for us.
Amen.
We ain't flying over to Saudi Arabia. We ain't trying to go over there to Mount Sinai. One, they'll arrest you. You try to go over there, they got them mud locked off. You go over there you want to. Some of y'all are they ain't not letting y'all. You going to where? Lock them up. But ye are come to Mount Zion, to the city of the living Elohim, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to the innumerable company of angels, to the general assembly and church of the firstborn. So he's going to do it again. So whatever everything's written the 4 times written for your learning. So we're going to replay this again. This time, you going to be in the cast. Which are written in heaven, and to God the judge of all, to the spirits of just men are made perfect, and to Yahshua the mediator of the new covenant.
Hallelujah. Amen.
So we see how important the covenant is.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
For I am Yah, I change what?
No.
Not.
Never.
So I don't care. So whatever I say, I'm not altering my lips. I ain't going back on what I said. So the only way to get you back into me is through Yahshua, and he is the bridge or the connect to this renewed of a covenant.
Yes.
Into the blood of sprinkles that speaks better than things that of Abel.
Yes, sir.
See that you refuse not him that speaks.
Amen.
Whatsoever things written the 4 times is written for your learning. They refused the voice from heaven.
Yes, they did.
For if they escape not who refused him that spake on earth, because he came down. And you won't believe this. Every time you say the Lord's Prayer, what do you ask for?
Thy kingdom come.
Come where? Here.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, Bo. Passion. For if they escape not who refused him that spake on earth, much more shall we not escape. Not escape. If we turn away from him that speak from heaven.
Hallelujah.
Whose voice then shook the earth.
Yes.
But now he hath promised, saying, Yet once more I shake not the earth only, but also heaven. I wonder why is that why Revelation is so wild and crazy and just... Because I'm not just going to shake the earth, I'm going to shake the earth and the atmosphere.
Hallelujah.
Did y'all know a couple of weeks ago that a meteor barely missed Earth? Who saw that? Anybody see that? The thing was big too.
Thank you, Jesus.
We read it, and it ain't on top of my head. But we read it, I think it's in 2nd Ezra 12 or 13 or 14. When Yah says, when he begins to shoot arrows and plagues at the earth, who will stop them and turn them back? Who?
Thank you, Lord.
Try to find that. I think it's somewhere. It's 13 or 14, brother. And just if you find it, just throw your hand up. Second Ezra. 13 or 14. Somewhere in there. Maybe even 12. That's strong. That show just happened. We going on about our business, fussing, complaining, whatever we doing in our own little zone. Things flying at the earth. And because of grace, you know, I'm going to give them another day.
Jesus.
Hallelujah.
I'm going to give them another
Thank
time.
you, Jesus.
And the people who do know ain't going to tell you nothing. You won't see that across Fox or CNN. You won't see Sports Center stop. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Meteor almost hits Earth. You're not going to see that. And your soul's on the line.
Yes,
Sorry.
we're ready.
Yet once more I shake not the earth only, but also heaven. And this word, yet once more, signifies the removing of those things that are shaken as of things that are made, that those things which cannot be shaken may remain. Wherefore we receive a kingdom which cannot be moved.
Hallelujah.
Let us have grace.
Yeah.
See, these writers talk about you having grace. Bless you. They talk about you having grace that you can survive what's coming.
Yes.
To survive what's coming. Let us have grace whereby we may serve God acceptably with reverence and with godly fear. Godly fear. For our God is a consuming fire. So here's another. So after the Mount Sinai, Numbers, and the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting, and the children of Israel also wept again. So as we go forward, people around you, things around you can cause you to fall. Things can cause you to stumble, and they can make you remember things that are old. Right? We just read a verse about old leaven, old ways, old Jew that's got to go. Instead, who shall give us flesh to eat? Jeremiah 31 through 33. The new covenant. Okay? Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel, with the house of Judah. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers, and they that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt. Right? Which is what we're talking about. Which my covenant they break. He ain't forget. Now look at his language. Although I was a. So I'm bringing you unto me to become echad, or one with you. And you know what you said? Keep it. You come, look, I done flew you.
Yes.
747. First class. Styling and profiling. I done flew you up here. I said, here are the keys to the house. Here are the keys to the house. And I said, I don't like it. It's too noisy. I don't like the neighbors. I don't want to be here. Said, I was a husband unto you. Saith Yah. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days. Saith Yah. I will put my law in their inward parts.
Hallelujah.
Write it in their hearts. You have found it.
I did not.
And will be their God, and they shall be my people. So the Torah, that thing tough. I done broke it. It's still ticking. Broke it. It's still ticking. Folks, they want me to be. They want to be on time around here. They say, we don't care if you break it or not. You better follow that timeline. You better follow that timeline, brother. I will put my law in their inward parts and write on their hearts. Because clearly, when they were coming out of the wilderness of sin, their hearts was as hard as clay with no water. Clay okay if you got water on it. Because then Yah said, you know what I can do with you? Man, I can mold you. I can make you something good now. Then I put something in you. But if you just hard, I can't put nothing. I can't grow nothing from you. I can't mold you. Ain't no water, as in ain't no spirit about you. Hard as this brick wall right here. Can't do nothing with you. So this new covenant, I'm going to write my Torah on their heart. Ezekiel 20. Ezekiel 20. Ezekiel 20. Let's start at verse 32, please. Hallelujah, if you're there. Ezekiel 20, verse 32. 32. Ezekiel 20 and 32, and it reads, "And that which cometh into your mind shall not be at all, that ye say we shall be as the heathen, as the families of the countries to serve wood and stone. As I live, saith the Lord God, surely with a mighty hand, with a stretched out arm, with fury poured out, I will rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand, with the stretched out arm, with the fury poured out. I will bring you into a wilderness. I will bring you into a wilderness. I will bring you into a... Where did he bring them to?
The wilderness.
Of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness, in the land of Egypt.
Yes.
So will I plead with you, saith the Lord God." So we seeing that?
Yes.
He says, so the same way I pulled them out and took them in the wilderness, I'm going to do you the exact same way. And I'm going to plead with you face to face.
Hallelujah.
I'm going to do the exact same thing.
Thank you.
And I will cause you to pass under the rod. And will bring you into the bond of the what? Covenant. What covenant? It's got to be the new covenant.
Thank you, Jesus.
So all this we're doing is rehearsal.
Hallelujah.
There will be a day now. How do I know? Because the word says so.
Yes, sir.
Well, for everything's written aforetime, it's written for my learning.
Hallelujah.
And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and will bring you to the bond of the covenant. And I will purge out from that among you the rebels. You notice there was a mixed multitude among them. I think one time the text calls them the rabble. I will purge out the rebels and them that transgress against me. Because you cannot break the what? Covenant. And I will bring them forth out of that country where they sojourn, that they shall not enter the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am the Lord. As for you, O house of Israel, thus saith the Lord God, go ye serve ye everyone his idols, and hereafter also, if you will not hearken unto me, but pollute ye my holy name no more with your gifts, with your idols. For my holy mountain, and the mountain in the height of Israel, saith the Lord God, there shall all the seed, house of Israel, all them in the land serve me. There will I accept them, and I will require your offerings and the first fruits. And the first fruits. He's going to accept could he accept their first fruits? Give me, brother, give me Galatians 5 and 23. He says, there I'm going to accept your first fruits.
Gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no Torah.
Go up to 20. Go up to 20.
Idolatry, drug sorcery, hatred, quarrels, jealousies, fits of rage, selfish ambitions, dissensions, factions, envy, murders, drunkenness, wild parties, and the like, of which I forewarn you, even as I also said before, that those who practice such as these shall not inherit the reign of Elohim.
Time out. So I wonder when they was in the wilderness and all them stops we talked about, I wonder if they had that. Was that the kind of fruit they was bearing out there? A bunch of thorns and thistles? Go ahead, brother. Keep reading.
But the fruit of the Spirit is love.
The fruit of the what?
Spirit.
Go ahead.
Joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, trustworthiness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no Torah.
So Yah says, I will require your offerings at the first fruits. What kind of fruit are you going to be looking for?
Prepare these gifts, the spirits.
Read them again, brother.
Idolatry, drug sorcery.
No, start with love.
Love. Got you. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, trustworthiness.
Can we produce that in the wilderness? Because they couldn't. That's the example Paul talking about in 1 Corinthians 10. Give me that right quick, brother. 1 Corinthians 10. Look at 4 or 5. About us not following the example. Maybe even 6. The example is they lusted.
And all drank the same spiritual drink. For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed, and the rock was Messiah.
Hallelujah.
However, with most of them, Elohim was not well pleased.
He was not what?
He was not well pleased.
Mm.
For they were laid low in the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
And these became examples for us, so that we should not lust after evil.
They became what?
Examples.
Mm.
That we should not lust after evil as those indeed lusted.
So there's going to be a time where y'all going to want us to produce fruit in some vicarious situations.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
He ain't talking about your apple tree
Mm-mm.
or your grapevine.
Mm-mm.
He's talking about the fruit from your heart.
Right.
That's where the law going to be written at in this new covenant. Matthew 13. Matthew 13. Put in y'all notes 17 through 43. Matthew 13. And just write down 17 through 43. Just go back and read it at your own leisure. We're going to look at 24. Matthew 13 and 24. And it reads, another parable he put forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. When the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, dost not thou sow good seed in the field? From whence hath it tares? He said unto them, an enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? He said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up the wheat with them. But let them grow together until the harvest, until the harvest, until the harvest, until the harvest. In the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares, bind them in bundles, and burn them. But gather the wheat into my barn.
Yes.
But gather the wheat into my barn.
Yes.
But go back, look at that, read it on your own. Isaiah 26. So he said, gather the wheat and put it where?
In his barn.
In his barn. Isaiah 26. Isaiah 26 and 18. Isaiah 26 and 18. And it reads, we have been with child, we have been in pain. We have, as it were, brought forth wind. We have not wrought any deliverance in the earth, neither have the inhabitants of the world fallen. Thy dead men shall live. Together with my dead body shall they arise. Awake and sing ye that dwell in dust. For thy dew is as the dew of herbs, and the earth shall cast out the dead. Come, my people, enter thou to thy chambers, and shut thy doors behind thee. And shut thy doors behind thee. Hide thyself as if it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. Until the time of the harvest,
Yes.
he separates
Amen.
the wheats and the tares. But he says, the tares, burn them with fire.
Yes.
He said, the wheat in my barn. The wheat in my barn. The wheat in my barn. Come, my people, 20, enter thou into thy chambers. And shut thy door about thee, hide thyself, as if it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. Covenant breakers, or not in the covenant. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain. So it's written out there for us. Brother, give me John 6 and 44. And can somebody else give me John 4, 23 and 24? I'm going to wrap this thing up. When you see that in Isaiah 26 and 20, come to the chambers, till my indignation is overpassed. But he said, my wheat now, my wheat going to go into the barn. It's going to get stored up. That's what Joseph did. Joseph had a place for that grain to get put up.
No one is able to come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I shall raise him up in the last day.
At the last day. Well, that's a whole nother festival, ain't it? We ain't even got there yet, have we? Let me let you know y'all still working. Whoever got John 4, go ahead.
John 4,
23 and 24.
23 and 24.
Mm-hmm.
But the hour is coming, and now is, when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth.
And who?
Spirit and truth.
And what kind of worshipers are these?
The true worshipers.
True worshipers. They can worship in what?
Spirit and truth.
Go ahead.
For the Father is seeking such.
Who's seeking?
The Father is seeking such to worship him. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth.
Spirit and truth. This is what he's looking for now. Especially for the new covenant. So when you're in the wilderness, the second time, and when he say you're going to pass under the rod for this covenant, you're going to be all right. Because there's going to be something different about you than how they were. They didn't have enough truth. They didn't have no spirit. And we see their outcome. So Paul said, use that as an example.
Yes.
So when he come and he gather and he separate, and we go through this pleading face to face again, you're going to be all right. Or your children going to be all right. Or your children's children going to be all right. Because you're in the
Covenant.
You're in the covenant. Yo, I do got to mean something this time now.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Yo, I do got to mean something.
Yes.
I know in our physical lives, we got people that say I do and they ain't about no business.
Yes.
Folks that say I do, they lie, they hustle, they cheat, they scam, they scamming, they flame them, they fighting, fussing, ain't about no business. We said, well, but with me. So I'll be a husband to you. I'll be a protector, a provider. I'm going to give me John 6 and 61 through 63. John 6, 61 through 63. He said, I got something for you. Can't nobody else give you now.
Hallelujah.
John 6, 61 through 63.
But Yeshua, knowing within himself that his talkers were grumbling about this, said to them, does this make you stumble? What if you see the son of Adam going up where he was before? It is the spirit that gives life.
The what?
The spirit that gives life.
Hold right there. What you say the Father was looking for?
Those that worship spirit and truth.
Because the Father is a
Spirit.
The Father is a
Spirit.
Go ahead.
The flesh does not profit at all.
It does not do what?
It profits nothing.
So the flesh won't give me nothing but rejection. It'll get me stumbling into something I ain't even ready for. It'll make me commit to something I really ain't ready for. Go ahead.
The words that I speak to you are spirit and life.
They are what?
Spirit and life.
Man, hush your mouth. So he's trying to make you get on his level to where you can do what? Go up the mountain. To where you can go up the mountain. Because you got to meet him. Your flesh can't make it, but your spirit can.
You weren't talking about 2nd Ezra 15, were you?
What it say?
It is, the whole saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the earth, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful words have fulfilled, therefore.
I think look for where it says about the plagues coming. And who gonna stop them and throw them back. And I might be butchering it up.
That's well, okay.
Just sorry, man. Just keep on, brother. I appreciate you. Let's turn to John 3 really quick. John 3 really quick. The Father's looking for those who are walking in spirit and in truth. John 3 and 5, and it reads, Yahshua answered, verily, verily, I say to thee, except the man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the of Elohim. But that which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Spirit is Spirit. So the Father is seeking those to worship in spirit and truth, because the Father is a Spirit. Now where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Marvel not that I said unto thee, you must be born again.
Yes.
You got to be born again like
Come on.
Born again like a child again, and then raised up.
Yes.
The wind bloweth where it listeth, but thou hearest the sound thereof, but cannot tell whence it cometh and whither it goeth. So is everyone that is born of the Spirit. Nicodemus answered and said unto him, how can these things be? Yahshua answered and said unto him, art thou not a master in Israel? And knowest not these things? Verily, verily, I say unto thee, we speak that we do know, and testify that we have seen. And ye receive not our witness. Remember, there were witnesses that day because they heard the voice or heard the thunder. That's messed up when you done something and you was a witness to it. You shall not bear false witness. If I have told you earthly things and you believe not, how shall you believe if I tell you heavenly things? If I have told you earthly things and you believe not, how shall you then believe if I tell you heavenly things? And no man that ascended up to heaven, but he that came down from heaven, which even is the Son of Man, which is in heaven. We already did that. So at Mount Sinai, the first time, what did they get? Okay, what did they get? Torah. Got the Torah. Okay? You right? You with me? This is what they got. They got the Torah. Okay? Deuteronomy 4, really quick. Deuteronomy 4, let me tell you how he felt about the Torah. Once he gave it to him, and Moses had to remind them how good Yah felt. Because once again, he bringing you to them like a husband. Behold, I have taught you, Deuteronomy 4 and 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them. This is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of all the nations, which ye shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great, who hath God so nigh to them, as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that has statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? Only take heed to thyself and to keep thy soul diligently, that thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from the heart all the days of thy life, but teach them to thy sons and thy sons' sons. So y'all was pretty excited. Even though I'm bringing you to me and you got a lot of issues, don't want to be here, but I'm going to give you, I'm going to put something on you. Okay? Brother, give me Acts 1 through 11. Acts 1 through 11.
The first account I made, O Theophilus, of all that Yeshua began both to do and to teach, until the day when he was taken up after giving instructions through the set-apart Spirit to the emissaries whom he had chosen. Okay, time out. So we're getting a witness of what Yeshua did once he resurrected from the grave. Go ahead. Until the day when he was taken up after giving instructions through the set-apart Spirit to the emissary, to whom he also presented himself alive after his suffering by many infallible proofs, being seen by them for 40 days, speaking concerning the reign of Elohim. Speaking what? Concerning the reign of Elohim. So he was so for 40 days he was teaching them about the kingdom of Yah, the kingdom of Elohim. Go ahead. And meeting with them, he commanded them not to leave Jerusalem. He did what? He commanded them not to leave Jerusalem. Now how many days he been teaching? 40. How many days we supposed to be counting? 50. Go ahead. But to wait for the promise of the Father, which you have heard from me. But to do what? To wait for the promise of the Father. What's what's the fruit of the Spirit that will help you to wait? Patience. So remember, we read in Ezekiel, the second time, when I get y'all behinds out there in that wilderness, you better have some first fruits for me. You're going to have some patience, some long suffering, some meekness, love, gentleness, joy. Go ahead. Because Yochanan truly immersed in water, but you shall be immersed in the set-apart Spirit not many days from now. So when they had should be do what? Immersed in the set-apart Spirit not many days from now. So when they had come together, they asked him, saying, Master, would you at this time restore the rain to Israel?
We're asking, will he do what?
At this time, would you restore the rain to Israel?
So Yahshua is telling them of something big that's about to happen. Big, vital. I'm teaching you guys in a resurrected body. I'm eating fish with you and bread every day. We talk and we get them, we let. I'm teaching you about the kingdom of Elohim. Things pertaining to, I'm unlocking the script for you so that when I leave, you can go. And then their question to him was what? Brother?
Well, when would you restore the rain to Israel?
So that is something that is important, but that will be more considered of the flesh. And he's teaching them things about the spirit. But the Father's seeking those who are what? In what?
Spirit.
And in truth. Because the Father is what? Spirit. So if I'm trying to transition you to where you can come up to me, you got to be spiritual. Go ahead.
And he said to them, it is not for you to know times or seasons which the Father has put in his own authority.
So he told them, none of your business. Huh? Folks got kids in here? Kids, that's good. Mind your business. Mind your business. None of your business. None of your business. Go ahead.
But you shall receive power when the set apart.
You're going to receive what?
Power.
Power?
Yeah.
Whoa. Like, oh. To help me win?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
When the set apart spirit has come upon you, and you shall be my witness in Jerusalem, and in all Yehuda and Shemaron, and to the end of the earth. And having said this, while they were looking on, he was taken up, and a cloud hid him from their sight.
He was taken up.
Yes.
Mm.
As they were gazing into the heavens, and he went up, see, two men stood by them dressed in white, who also said, Men of Galilee, who do you stand looking up into the heaven? This same Yeshua who was taken up from you into heaven shall come in the same way as you saw him go into heaven.
So they said, the angel's like, what y'all looking up for? Didn't he tell you that already? Get to work. You got to go. You got to get to work. He doing what he got to do. You got to do what you got to do. Now, Acts, put in your notes 2:1-42. I had big plans. We ain't going to read all of it. 2:1-42, put that in your notes. But at verse 42, remember we said earlier we looked at the word berit for covenant. We had that thing about cutting. Verse 41. This is well. Let's go ahead and read what Peter showed out. Verse 36, Acts 2. Therefore let all the house of Israel know assuredly that God hath made the same Yahshua, whom ye have crucified, both Master and Mashiach. Now when they heard this, they were pricked in the heart, and said unto Peter and to the rest of the apostles, Men, brethren, what shall we do to be saved? Then Peter said unto them, Repent and be ye baptized, every one of you, in the name of Yahshua Mashiach, for the remission of sins, and ye shall receive the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh. For the promises unto you and to your children and to all that are far off, even as many as Yah our Elohim has called. With many other words that he testified and exhort, saying, Save yourselves from this untoward generation.
Yes.
Right? You got to save yourselves from the wilderness.
Yes.
Then they that gladly received his word were baptized the same day. Then were added to them about 3,000 souls. They continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship, and in breaking of bread. The covenant. But now we're talking about this renewed covenant.
Yes.
Where the law has to be written where?
On the heart.
Because these people are practicing
Yes.
Hebrews.
Yes.
But the Torah has to be here.
Yes.
Because I wrote it on stone, because the stone symbolized your heart. I had you go through the waters of sin because your heart was as hard as clay in the middle of a drought. But he said, this next bride that I bring unto myself, that I will bring unto myself, she gonna be ready for me. And you know what I'm gonna say to her? I'm gonna look at her and say, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bones. It's in your book.
Yes.
Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah.
Matthew 25:1-13. We're not going to read it, but put that in your notes. The parable of the virgins. What were they supposed? What they have?
Oil.
Lamps. What else they need to have?
Oil.
You need two things.
Oil
Well, no, you said no. I said right. Lamps and oil. Lamps and oil. All right. The lamp is a what? Word unto my
Feet.
and a light unto my
Path.
They needed also oil.
Yes.
Spirit.
So now the Father's seeking for what? Those worshiping in spirit and in truth.
Yes, sir.
So now we got some wedding bands from Mashiach. Because the word is a lamp. You're going to have to have that Torah now.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I don't care what you say.
Yes.
You're going to have this Torah.
Amen.
Spirit is your oil.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
At one point, because you were Abraham's descendant, I'm going to come holler at you. Because I told him I would. At one point, Solomon, you done got wicked, you done got whatever, but I ain't going to take the kingdom from you because what I promised to your daddy. But now, in this renewed covenant, if that law ain't written on your heart,
Yeah.
you can't sit your behind down somewhere.
All right. And act like a lady.
Running around, whoring around. Everything under the sun. You chasing after. You running after.
All right.
Like a dog looking at a dog surrounded by 30 squirrels. You don't know what to do. Stick on the narrow path. He said, so this, I'm going to mark my bride. They got to have this lamp. And it's got to have oil in it.
Yes, sir.
We can understand that when you're ready to marry somebody, you give them a little ring. So I'm going to mark you with this word, with this oil. And when I come and when I gather my wheat into the barn, or I gather the wheat into the wilderness, if you ain't got this, you a rebel. Ezekiel is pretty clear. I'm going to cut you off. Because I'm going to plead with you one more time. Hebrews book was clear. You looking for Mount Zion. That's your goal. It's in the book. Galatians 3, 22 through 24. No, hang on. Hold that, brother. Now, I done messed up. And I ain't going to play it because I done messed it up. There's a scene where he about to take this, coming to America. Remember that? And this girl has been trained her entire life to be the queen of the king of Zamunda. So they had this procession and the dancing, the celebrating, and she come out and he's like, okay, time out. Let me take you to the back. And he says, tell me about yourself. What do you like? She says, I like what you like. She says, from a little girl, I was raised up to be your queen. Now, you won't believe, we just read what he told Nicodemus. That you got to be born again. And that from whenever you were born again, you got to be raised up to be somebody's bride. Now give me Galatians 5 and 22. I'm sorry, 3 and 22.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Thank you, brother. I'm in the zone. It's all right.
That's good.
Galatians 3, 22 through 24.
But the 23?
22 through 24.
Okay. But the scripture has shut up all mankind under sin,
Mm-hmm.
that the promise by belief in Yeshua Messiah might be given to those who believe.
Mm-hmm.
But before belief came, we were being guarded under Torah,
Mm-hmm.
having been shut up for the belief being about to be revealed.
Mm.
Therefore, the Torah became our trainer unto Messiah.
The Torah became your what?
Our trainer,
Unto who?
Messiah.
Now this same Messiah, he looking for a wife.
Yeah.
He said, you know what? Because he was one in the wilderness now. He said, I ain't going through that no more. Now, I went through that with them. I said, this ain't going to work with these folks. So I had to come back down here again in the form of a human. I had to be sacrificed like a lamb on a particular time of the year. I had to be sacrificed to make a way for you. That's why he's the mediator of this new covenant. He said, I ain't going to do it again. I said, this time in my selection process, you got to have some things. You got to have some things. I don't care about who your daddy is. I don't care about that. I don't care if that's Luann little boy. That's Donnell nephew. I don't care. Does he have that and does he have that? Because the Father's seeking it. And if the Father, because look, he said the Father's seeking. He said, I ain't bringing nobody to my daddy's house. I ain't bringing no hoochie to my daddy's house. Huh? I'm not introducing no heifer to my father. Huh?
Right.
He said in Jeremiah 31:36, I was trying to be a husband unto y'all. Give you everything you need. You said, man, keep your keys. You shouldn't even flew me up here. I ain't want to come here. So he going to do it again. And the people this time, they better have themselves together. But every time I turn around, folks are stuck off in the world. They stuck off on different doctrines. They stuck off on this. They want multiple wives. They want to do this. They want to do that. And ain't none of that about getting saved.
Come on.
To be found worthy to stand in front of the Son of Man.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So the Torah, in some of your translations might say, was your schoolmaster. It was to prepare you for him. That's why she said, and that it's too long. I don't know how to get there without messing it up. So I don't worry about it. Y'all know what I'm talking about, most of you. But the point is that when she said, from a little girl, I was raised up to be the queen. The book says we got to be born again. And when you become born again, you go through a process and you need two things. You need the Torah and you need the Ruach so that you can be taught and prepared for him. Because everything we see about him coming back is lion and not lamb. They got to deal with the lion. They could they got to deal with the lamb. They could poke at the lamb. You're a devil, Beelzebub. Ain't that Joseph boy? But when he come back, that ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna be like that when he come back. Does that make sense? So then you got to be ready, dressed and impressed. He said, if you ain't got these bands on, you couldn't have got them, you get it from me. That's why we read John 6:44 every Shabbat. Read it every Shabbat. On that note, shalom. Enjoy this day in Yah. But the Most High is good.
Yes, he is.
He has things and places he wants us to. There's places in life we got to be.
Yeah.
Places in life he wants us to be. And we still stiff-necked and slow-footed. Some of them we don't really mean. Some of them we just lazy.
Well.
Some of them we just ignorant to some stuff. It is what it is. I don't sit there and claim that we said we're going to do everything 1,000% right, because that would be foolish on my behalf to teach you that and tell you that.
Amen.
That would be a lie.
Amen. Amen.
One of the things that you cannot be going into the kingdom is a liar. But anyway, enjoy. We got plenty of food. Fellowship is still a high day. We enjoy. We're going to pray. Have a good time. But once again, you got meteorites barely missing Earth. Got all kind of stuff going on. And Yah is his clock now. He ain't going to stop his clock for us.
No.
So either you're ready or you're not.
Hallelujah.
Okay, either the bride is getting herself dressed and ready, and we're not wavering, we're not back and forth. We gotta get and be where we gotta be and be there and grow and be ready to go. Because apparently he's gonna come and gather. And he said, for this covenant, you have to cross under this rod. Because they had to cross under a rod. He stuck the rod out and stretched it out. He said, fear not, be still, see your salvation today.
Hallelujah.
We got to see that same salvation face to face. What Prophet Ezekiel said. He said, I'm going to plead with you like I did your fathers. One last time.
One last time.
So that was an example.
Thank you.
All that stuff. So that was an example. He said, don't you mess up. They died. He said, I'm giving you something that they couldn't get. The Ruach. What's the point of having the Spirit? That you can live. That you can live. He said, I want you. I don't want you to die. It's so accessible to you now. We got to make the choice. Be in the covenant. You say I do. Be in the covenant. Speaking of the Decalogue on Sound Society, that's going to be our altar. That'll be your altar. And then we're going to pray. And if anybody need prayer today, please let us know. We're going to pray for you. And then when we get through with that, I'd like to pray for Pastor Adams. Okay? And get the prayer group up here. We're going to pray for Pastor Adams. And if anybody else needs prayer. Because all the word and stuff is good, but you got to have a ruach. That's why the worship is so important. That's why I love when we worship. And folks are shouting out and crying out. Do that.
Amen.
Don't hold back. He didn't make you to hold back. What he didn't put that shout on you for nothing.
That's right.
That's right.
Tears of joy, a tear of what? Let it out. The system wants you to hold it in. But all praise to y'all. We give all praise. So have y'all stopped that? We still
Okay.
that's
Yeah, I
still
was
going?
just waiting on you to say you're done.
Okay, I'm done. Thank you.